Hello and welcome to the We're Not Experts History Podcast. I'm James, and as you may notice, I've got man flu, so I'm hoping to hang on to life before the end of this podcast. With me, as usual, is Sarah. Hello, Sarah.
Hello. I didn't know you had man flu. That's terrible. I'm so sorry.
Yes, yeah. I've written up a will. You're getting nothing.
Well, that's just mean. That is just
me.
End of podcast. Yeah. But I hope this isn't too painful for you then, because I am going to be testing you a little bit on this one.
Oh, this is another Let's Try and Make James look like a prat episode.
Yeah, to be fair, you did pretty well last time, and I think you're probably going to do pretty well on this one as well, because you just seem to know all of this random obscure stuff that most people wouldn't even think about. But anyway, let's see how it goes. So this will basically be another true or false podcast, where I will give you two scenarios or two facts. These are more facts than scenarios. And you have to guess which is true and which is false. And we're going to be focusing on the Victorians for this one.
Okay.
So the facts are not in any particular order. They relate to all sorts of things around Victorian life, diet, fashion, all kinds of stuff. Not in any particular order. But it's all related to the Victorian era. So just to give you a heads up. And I will be keeping a tally of your score. So no pressure or anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, are you ready? Let me have a sip of drink to fortify myself.
As ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, so
I will remind you, I've got man flu, so you might want to move this on.
All right, calm down. No excuse. If you fail, it's because you're dumb. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Okay, round one then.
Yes.
So, fact A. Some Victorian postmen were required to wear top hats as part of their uniform. Fact B. Postmen were fined, so Victorian postmen were fined if they were seen speaking to women while on their delivery rounds.
Right. Which
is true, which is false?
So that's not. Oh dear. That's a really good one. I don't know that I've ever seen postmen wearing top hats, but fined for talking to women.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we were all fined for talking to women, that'd probably save quite a lot of grief.
Yeah, it would. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. I've got absolutely no idea.
Oh, I stumped you on the first round. Well done, me.
Yeah, I've actually. These are ones I've never heard of. I'm going to go for the top hat.
So you think that's true? Top hat.
It might have been part of the uniform or something similar to a top hat. Yeah.
You would be correct, actually. Victorian postmen were expected to look respectable, and top hats and tailcoats were official uniform until the 1860s. Now, it may have varied from area to area, but it was part of the uniform in some places. And
they were still wearing the old, quite famous peaked cap.
Yes.
Into the 80s.
Yes.
I've got photos of me wearing my dad's.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't that old, but there wasn't an official no women rule. They did have very strict conduct codes, as you can imagine, being the Victorian times, but there wasn't actually an official rule that they couldn't speak to women. That was completely made up. Yeah. I thought I might catch you out there because knowing how strict they were about such things, but anyway. Okay. Round two. So this one relates to inventions.
Okay.
So A. Engineers in the 1860s built a pneumatic railway that ran on air pressure beneath London. Or B. One inventor proposed a steam-powered bicycle, but unfortunately it caught fire during testing. Now, which fact do you think is correct?
A steam-powered bicycle.
Or a pneumatic railway, which sounds more believable.
I'm sure there was a pneumatic railway in London. It might have been used by Royal Mail or something like that. A steam-powered bicycle. That would have been huge.
Mm.
And it wouldn't be much. I suppose it would have been a motorbike, wouldn't it? Steam-powered. I'm going to go for the pneumatic railway.
Correct. This was a real experiment in South London. The trains were literally pushed by air in underground pipes, and this experiment took place in 1861 on land owned by Vauxhall Waterworks and the London, Brighton and South Coast Railway at Battersea.
Oh, okay.
So that actually did happen. And steam bikes did come later, but not during Victorian times. Not then, and none of them were flaming disasters. So the fire thing,
would you want to
I just made up.
Steam engine?
Sorry?
Would you want to sit astride a steam engine?
Not really, no. Oh,
no,
God.
I don't want to sit on a motorbike, let alone a steam engine.
No, I wouldn't sit on a motorbike either. Okay. No. Moving on to round 3. So you've got them both right so far. Let's see if you can keep this up.
Yeah, I've fluked it so far, to be honest. So
we move on to, what's the word? Medical cures or therapies or treatments. Treatments is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So one Victorian doctor claimed that laughter therapy could be administered by having patients watch actors recite Shakespeare while wearing special vibrating boots.
All right.
Okay, that's A. B, some Victorian doctors prescribed electric baths where patients sat in mild electric currents, and this was thought to cure a wide range of conditions, including rheumatism, hysteria, and depression.
It's that second one, because there was a program on several years ago called Casualty 1910 or something like that. Right. Obviously, it was set in a Royal London hospital, and they used diaries and the admissions book to tell the actual stories. And one of them was about them getting in electric air baths, and they would charge a penny or something like that, and to people who could afford it, as well as letting the poor use it to help with their rheumatism and things. So B.
Yes, you would be right. And to be honest, I thought you'd get that one, because I thought even if you hadn't heard of electric baths, the vibrating boots thing would definitely but that was just too ridiculous. I did think that when I came up with that one. But so yes, electrotherapy was a thing. The process became widely known after Benjamin Franklin described it in the mid-18th century, but it didn't become mainstream until there was a chap called Golden Bird, and he brought it to Guy's Hospital in the 19th century. And by the early 20th century, it had fallen out of use, but it was a thing at some stage. But yeah, the vibrating boots, I just totally made that up. So I thought that was a bit dumb, to be honest, but you might have fell for it. You might have fell for it. So round 4, we're talking about Victorian doctors still.
Okay.
So some Victorian doctors recommended that if you placed mustard plasters on the soles of your feet, it would cure headaches. And the idea behind this was that stimulating the feet could draw bad humours downward, relieving pressure in the head. So that's A. B, Victorian doctors thought that wrapping yourself in newspaper would prevent pneumonia.
Newspaper?
Mm-hmm. Wrapping yourself in newspaper.
I'm just trying to work out why, if that one's true, at what point, why would it have to be newspaper to help you fight off pneumonia? What was it? What did they think it was about pneumonia or newspaper that would stop pneumonia?
Insulation.
Now, I've heard of mustard plaster. I have heard of mustard plasters. I don't know if it was for humours, because obviously that was a thing of the past, the humours.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the mustard plasters because I can't see why newspaper would help against pneumonia.
You think the mustard plasters is the correct one?
Sure, I've heard of mustard plasters, yeah.
And you would be wrong. First one wrong. Yay!
Yeah.
So, apparently Victorian
Newspaper.
doctors did believe, I'm not saying that it was fact, but Victorian doctors did believe that wrapping yourself in newspaper would prevent pneumonia. Now, mustard plasters, you're not completely wrong. Mustard plasters did exist, but they were used to aid muscle pain and congestion. You'd normally put them on your chest.
Okay.
Rather than your feet.
Oh, okay, like a poultice.
So, yes. So that was a bit of a trick one, but...
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, first one wrong. Hey, I feel very happy about that. Yeah. I'm so mean.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks for Chardon. Have you heard the word Schadenfreude?
No. What is that?
No, you can look it up later.
Oh, well.
It's taking enjoyment in other people's feelings.
Yeah, that would be me. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on to round 5. So, there was a vegetarian... So this is A. There was a vegetarian butcher shop in London in Victorian times selling mock meat made from lentils and nuts. Or B,
okay.
An eccentric vicar opened a meat-free zoo feeding lions on porridge and turnips.
Oh my God! I've heard of vegetarian butchers. I've never heard of, but did they exist?
But did they exist in Victorian times? That is the question.
No. Well, I know there was vegetarians in Victorian times.
Yes.
But I can't even say it. A Victorian vicar opened a vegetarian zoo.
Yes.
Is what you're saying?
Yes, feeding lions on porridge and turnips rather than feeding them meat.
Cobblers. I'm going to go with a butcher.
Yeah, you would be right. To be fair, that was quite obvious. So vegetarianism was actually surprisingly fashionable in the late Victorian era. Plant-based diets were seen as very moral and very modern. So,
I'd heard of Victorian vegetarians.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, lions on porridge, I think even Victorians would draw the line at that, to be quite honest. But knowing that they were pretty eccentric, I thought, perhaps you might fall for that one, but anyway.
The vicar, but the addition of a vicar as well, that's, very clever.
Yeah, I know. So I'm quite good. I'm quite good at this sometimes, even though you are actually winning. So let's just see how we go. Okay, round 6. I'm trying to think what order to do them in. Okay.
Okay.
A.
Do the true one first.
No, I'm not going to always do that because then you'll guess. I like to mix them up to make it confusing for you.
Yeah, well, I might not have been entirely serious.
No. Okay. So A. Victorians preferred to drink beer instead of water. So even if you were sick, you were pregnant, or you were a child, beer was the way to go.
Yeah.
Or B. Some Victorian households served a dessert and it was called gingered anchovy pudding. Now, this was a sweet and salty steamed pudding, and it was made with candied ginger, anchovy paste, breadcrumbs and suet. And it was supposedly believed to aid digestion after heavy meals.
Oh my God. Well, obviously straight away, I heard the first one. I thought, it was that one. But now you've thrown this one in. I think you've done this as a red herring. Gingered anchovy pudding.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know for quite a long time, water wasn't safe enough to be drunk, so people would drink beer.
Mm.
I mean, it would have been slightly weaker.
Yeah.
But it was safer, so... I don't know whether you've thrown that other one in as a red herring or it's true, but I'm going to have to go with the beer.
You think the beer?
Yeah.
Yes, you're correct. The other one, I totally made that up. Yes, so beer was safer than water. Clean water was, even in Victorian times, was hard to find. and even harder to transfer. So instead of drinking potentially polluted water, Victorians preferred to drink beer.
Okay, so yes, I knew it was quite a while.
Yeah, and to be honest, although yes, they did love their puddings. That pudding, I invented that. I thought that was quite cleverly done. I even gave you a recipe. But anyway,
it was there was one for the Second World War, which was, I can't think, was it salmon, mustard, and lettuce or something like that.
That sounds disgusting.
Absolutely vile.
But I bet it existed.
I'd try it. I would try it if I saw it.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, and I'm fussy. I'm a fussy eater, but I'd give it a go.
Okay, round 7. We're talking about beards, Victorian beards.
Yeah.
Some Victorian men powdered their beards with gold to signal wealth and hygiene. That's A. Or B, in 1853, there was a short-lived beard tax which was introduced to discourage unkempt facial hair among gentlemen.
A beard tax?
Mm-hmm.
I doubt that. That sound. Oh, that's a different one, because that sounds like it's one of those ones that people pass off as being true, but it's absolute cack. I'm gonna have to go. I've got the only problem is powdered their beards with gold as a sign of wealth. It's got to be that one, because the tax sounds. That one is slightly more believable. Or is it, well, actually, the second one's slightly more unbelievable than that. So I'll go with the powdered beards.
You think that was it?
Yeah.
To be fair, I made them both up. That was a trick one. Yeah. That was a trick one. Yeah. I'm not even going to mark you on that. So the tax, to be honest though, the tax thing, it's not a complete lie. It just didn't exist in Victorian Britain. But in 1698, the Tsar of Russia, he actually introduced a beard tax to Russian society. Introduced a beard tax to bring Russian society in line with Western European models. Yes, and men were required to either shave their beards off or choose to pay a tax if they wanted to keep their beard. And those that paid the tax had to carry a beard token.
Okay.
But I'm not going to mark you on that. I'm going to take that one out because obviously that was a trick one. That was just me being stupid, but I just thought that was quite funny. Okay. Right, we move on to beauty, Victorian beauty standards. Okay. So, Victorian women sometimes applied rosewater and beetle wing powder to their cheeks as blush. The powder was said to give a natural rosy glow that lasted all day.
All day? Ooh.
All day, yes. Or B, during the Victorian era, women used to apply raw meat to their faces to prevent wrinkles and improve their complexion.
I think you've worded that first one carefully, because the beetle wing powder would be cochineal, wouldn't it?
I'm not sure.
Which is a red.
Yeah, what they use,
a red dye,
which they use in lipstick. But did they use it in blusher?
Yeah, and food dyes as well, I believe. So, which is why I'm going to go for that one.
You'd be wrong.
They put raw meat on their faces.
They did. Can you imagine the smell? Disgusting, but yes, they did. That was actually a thing. Although Victorians did use quite elaborate homemade cosmetics, and yes, there was a dye that was made of crushed beetles, and I think it was used in lipsticks and things. There isn't any evidence to support that they put it on their faces as blusher. So that was made up. So, to be honest, so you're doing very well. You've only got 2 wrong out of 8.
I think there was a feeling for quite a while that women who wore rouge on their faces were of low morals.
Yes, that is true.
So maybe that wouldn't have been a widespread Victorian thing.
No, it wouldn't have been. Oh, lost me earphone. No, what are they called? Earbud. That's what they're called. Oh. Right. Okay. Right. Let's find another one. Okay. So, fact A. The reason Victorians wore black was because of pollution. Apparently, the heavy coal smoke left a grey stain on light clothing, so many Victorians chose to wear black for this reason. Or right. B. In the late 1800s, some wealthy women wore whalebone wrist cuffs under their sleeves. Now, these were stiff little inserts that were said to improve posture while keeping their arms straight. And they were often decorated with lace or embroidered motifs so they could be seen at the wrist.
Whalebone wrist cuffs?
Mm-hmm. Or did they wear black because of pollution? Obviously, we know Victorians wore a lot of black, but was it because of pollution? Was that the reason?
Well, that's what maybe I would have thought it was because black was easy to make or something along those lines. But whalebone wrist cuffs sounds like an absolute load of old cobblers.
But these are the Victorians. These are the Victorians.
The reason they wore black is because it hid the dirt of the environment.
You would be wrong. No, I'm joking. You're right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, were you going to change then? Were you going to change tack then? Because I just interrupted. No, you are right. That is true, and it makes sense. And the whalebone wrist cuffs, I just invented that. Although Victorians were certainly obsessed with posture and elegance, whalebone wrist cuffs were not actually a thing. Yes, they had the whalebone corsets, which is kind of where I got the idea from. But they didn't wear them on their wrists. I just made that up. So, okay. Let's go to round 10. So that one you got right. So round 10, where are we at? Umbrellas. Let's talk about umbrellas. Okay. So
it's been coming.
Yeah. So, A. Queen Victoria's butler invented a collapsible umbrella that doubled as a walking stick and a pistol. B.
Right.
Some Victorian gentlemen refused to use umbrellas in the rain. They said they were unmanly and foreign contraptions.
But they weren't anything new by the Victorian period. I'm sure I found relatives who were actually maybe someone else. I found relatives who were umbrella repairers rather than makers. So the first one, so Queen Victoria's butler invented an umbrella that was both a walking stick and a pistol.
Yeah.
Well, I'm now wondering whether he made it for Queen Victoria or not, or he just invented it. And Victorian men refused to use them.
Because they thought they were unmanly and foreign.
Yeah, which I can believe. But, oh my, this is difficult, this one.
That's what I was hoping.
It's obviously, because the fear of foreign invasion comes up a lot in the Victorian era, especially with things like War of the Worlds. Do you know what? I'm going to go with that one. I think it's the Victorian men refused to use umbrellas because they thought it wasn't manly.
You think?
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
I taught myself
They actually thought umbrellas were too French and not suitably British enough. So, yes, many Victorian men did boycott the idea of an umbrella. And the weaponised umbrella, completely made up. Spy umbrellas did appear, but that was like a century later. So they weren't invented by Queen Victoria's butler. So there's no evidence of that.
I thought that there was someone was shot in the back of the leg with a tiny little pellet. I think it had ricin in it from a contraption in an umbrella, hidden in an umbrella many years ago on a bridge in London.
Yeah,
and that was something to do with spies.
Yes.
espionage.
They did exist, but just not then. Or not as far as we know, anyway. And certainly not invented by the Queen's butler, as far as we know.
Yeah.
But what do we know? We weren't there, but anyway. Okay, moving on to round 11. So let's talk about cucumbers. So,
okay, that's
fact A.
Yeah.
Some Victorians claim that cucumber water could sharpen the mind, and it was actually sold as a tonic, cucumber water. Or B, wealthy Victorians grew cucumbers indoors as a status symbol.
Hang on. What? Cucumbers as a status symbol?
As a status
because
symbol.
They're grown indoors?
Yeah.
I'm now doubt myself, because straight off, cucumber water must reek. Because cucumbers are disgusting.
To you, not to everybody.
They're mostly water anyway.
Yeah, that's probably why they made cucumber water out of them.
And now you've said that, like you're trying to push me that way, I'm going to go for the other one. I reckon weirdos grew them indoors because it was seen as some sort of weird status symbol.
Going for that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It actually was a real Victorian hobby. Greenhouses were a symbol of refinement because they required heating, which was very costly. So if you could afford to heat a greenhouse, you had money to burn.
You had a few quid. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, they were actually a status symbol. The cucumber tonic, completely invented. I'm sure that there is probably some kind of cucumber tonic on the market today. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, it wasn't a thing then. Okay. Let's go to round 12. You're doing well. To be honest, even if you kind of bodge up the next... How many have we got left? Can't remember. I think I did about 15. I think. I'm not sure. You're still more than half correct. So you're doing good. You're doing good.
I've lost interest.
Oh, be quiet.
You can carry on.
Be quiet and listen. Right. So,
I'm talking to your husband now.
Fact A. No. Fact A. Some Victorians believe that eating sparrows roasted with sugar could improve their eyesight, and wealthy households would serve these tiny birds as delicacies or medicinal dishes. So that's A. B. Victorians believe that eating mashed green peas with a drizzle of vinegar at breakfast could strengthen the liver and improve moral character for the day ahead.
Oh.
So sparrows or peas?
I think if you were asking me personally, what should I try? I'd try eating a sparrow. I can't imagine there's going to be much meat on a sparrow.
No.
But it sounds, roasted sparrow sounds like something from the medieval period. Like lark's tongues. Mashed peas.
With a drizzle of vinegar at breakfast.
What did they think that helped?
To strengthen the liver and improve moral character. Honestly, the Victorians, man.
Yeah, oh dear. Oh, I think because, oh my God, I don't know. Sparrow.
You think they ate sparrows?
It could be either. Roast sparrow.
Is that your final answer? Do you want to phone a friend, ask the audience?
I haven't got any friends. I do a podcast.
Fair enough. You're right. Sparrows actually were considered a delicacy. Now, it is unclear as to whether the Victorians actually ate them to improve their eyesight, but they did actually eat them as a delicacy. And the second one, the peas with the vinegar, I just made that up. I just invented that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I just had to actually blurt one out because Either one of those, both don't. Neither of them sound plausible.
No, that's the thing,
Yeah.
isn't it?
That's the yeah.
Okay, let's go to round 13. So in Victorian times, tattoos were actually very popular amongst the nobility. And some popular designs of the era included Japanese motifs, flowers, birds, faces, and art.
Right.
So that was A. B, in the 1870s, it was fashionable among middle-class Londoners to carry miniature handheld fans which were shaped like books, and they were supposedly used to signal secret messages in social settings.
Oh, no. Oh, because I know for a fact the Victorian tattoos were a thing. Yeah, I've seen photos of people absolutely covered in tattoos from the Victorian era.
I mean, obviously, we know tattoos existed from even before that, but the fact is that they were trending amongst the nobility. That's the fact that I'm giving you, and that's what you have to decide is true.
What then threw me was about using fans as signals, but I thought that was a little bit earlier. I know a few years ago they found somewhere quite cold, maybe in the Arctic Circle, they found a frozen bloke he'd been there for thousands of years, and he had tattoos on him.
Yeah.
And they worked out that it was basically his medical history.
Oh wow!
So when he went to see another doctor, they could read it anyway. Fans or tattoos amongst the nobility. Things I know, I can think of one person who you'd probably say was from the nobility who did have a tattoo. I can't think of his name. He was a military man. He was appointed the king of Sweden or Denmark. They all approached him, would you do the job? And he had a tattoo on his chest that said "Death to Kings."
How do you know these things? But yeah,
I watch a lot of crap on telly.
I can tell.
But this is difficult because the fans, I'm sure they used to have, the fans would denote things by the way they'd have it open or the way they held it, which hand they held it in, or if it was closed. And I'm going to have to go for fans.
You think the fans?
I'm going for the second one, yeah.
I'm sorry, but the tattoo one is actually the right answer. Ever since Queen Victoria's son got a tattoo in Jerusalem, apparently, almost 100,000 people across the United Kingdom followed in his footsteps and had one done. So they were actually trending amongst the nobility. Yes, there may have been some kind of weird fan thing going on, but the whole thing about them being shaped like books, that's just completely invented.
I sort of overlooked that bit.
I made that up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, talking about nobility, round 14, Queen Victoria wasn't actually, Queen Victoria wasn't actually called Victoria. Her real name was Alexandrina, and she was named after her godfather, Tsar Alexander I of Russia. Or B, Queen Victoria reportedly banned the colour orange from her private chambers, claiming it was too overstimulating for proper rest, and she only allowed shades of pale blue, grey or lavender.
Now her name was Alexandrina. She took Victoria when she ascended to the throne.
Okay, you knew that. That's fine. So you're right.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that if you know it, you know it. But if you didn't know it, you'd be like, I don't know.
That's everything. If you know it, you know it.
Yeah, so Victoria was her middle name, which she shared with her mother. And until her coronation in 1838, she was actually known as Drina.
Drina, okay.
Yeah, but many of the public at the time were not aware of her official name. And yes, the whole thing with the colour orange, although she was certainly known for her strong opinions in the household, there is no evidence that she took offence to the colour orange.
Yeah.
I just kind of thought she might have done.
I don't remember a bit disliking her for the Dutch or anything like that. So.
No. Okay, so we're on the last round, and to be fair, you've bloody won because you've pretty much got all of them right except for like 2 of them. So that's really annoying. I'll have to work harder at this. Right.
Okay.
No, I bloody will. I want you to foul. Do you understand? So annoying when you get it right.
You're starting to talk to me like I'm your husband.
Yeah.
Poor nub
I
of a
do
man.
not.
He was 6'3" when I met him. He's, what, 5'7" now?
I do not talk to my husband like that.
I want you to fail.
Oh no, I would never say that to my husband. I'd say it to you, but
yeah.
Okay, round 15. A. Victorian households often covered the legs of their tables with fabric or skirts because they believed that exposed table legs were improper and could distract diners from polite conversation. That was A. Or B. Some Victorian chairs were designed with conversation back, so they had high sides to give people privacy when they were talking.
A wingback chair. Yeah, it's the second one. Because I think that they, even though they did put tables and pianos, they would have like lace things at the bottom, but it was to stop them getting scuffed.
So you think the chair one is correct?
The chair.
Yeah. For God's sake, I'm definitely going to try harder at this because it's really annoying. Yes, they were known as tete-a-tete chairs, and they were like S-shaped. And funnily enough.
Oh yes, I've seen them.
Funnily enough, I watched a video recently. There's a channel I watch, and they're called Bros of Decay. And if anyone's listening to this, you should check these guys out. Bros of Decay, and they do a lot of urban exploring in Europe. And they were at a property. I can't remember which country it was in, but they were in the conservatory of this property, and there was this S-shaped chair. And they were going, oh, that's a funny shaped chair. And it's actually, it's called a tete-a-tete chair. And it allowed two people to talk while facing opposite directions. So they would enable a private conversation, normally between couples that were courting, but they didn't have to sit side by side, which could be seen as improper in those days.
Yeah.
Yes. And yes, the thing with the what they called the table, covering the table legs. Yes, Victorians were famously obsessed with modesty, which is why I thought you might possibly fall for that. But the decorative table skirts, they were a design trend. They did not serve any moral purpose. So you got, to be fair, you pretty much got them all right except for two. So you know. That was rubbish. Okay. That was rubbish. No, you got 1, 2.
I thought it was quite good.
Yeah, for you. I want you to get them wrong. That's the thing. Then I know that I've done good. But anyway, so well done. You didn't do too bad. Actually, no, you did. You did well. You did well. Do you know? I'm quite impressed that a couple of them did throw you a little bit, even though you got them right. You still had to think about it. So
yeah.
And to be honest, I'm annoyed with myself with the Queen Victoria one because I had another fact I was going to use for her, and I did the name one, and I was actually thinking, I bet you he knows this. Like, he will know that wasn't her real name. Because I actually knew that, and I thought, well, if I know that, he's going to know it. But anyway. Well,
years and years of misspent youth sitting at home
watching rubbish.
History Channel. And then QI as well. And,
yeah. But anyway, you did well. So congratulations, Mr. Basildon. You actually passed the test. And now I need to, I need to work a bit harder, I think, and try and catch you out next time. We'll pick a different topic next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, that was fun. And I'll let you do the sign off because that's your job today.
Well, it's my job today, yeah. So, yes, after my quite impressive victory, I'd like to say thank you for listening. I couldn't have done it without Stephen Fry and Sandy Toksvig. Please remember, we are amateurs. I think, I don't know why we need to remind you because it's quite obvious. Tune in next time.